Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Players Zone YouTube channel. Welcome to the season 24-25 Premier League predictions. I'm buzzing, to be honest with you. I am so excited to be back. It was an amazing series last year, the best supported series on the channel. We had fantastic video views on the predictions for the Euros, and I cannot wait to get started for the new season for the Premier League. Massive video here, match day one predictions, huge games. We've got Man City and Chelsea. We've got newly promoted Ipswich taking on analyse Liverpool. Eric Ten Hag's new Manchester United host Fulham on the opening night as well. So many great games to go through. We've got some tight ones in there as well, so cannot wait to go through it. Looking back to last season, to wrap last year up, we finished with 234 of our prediction points. If you're new to the channel, if you're discovering these prediction videos for the first time, if you're wondering how our point system works, throughout the season, we'll be keeping track of how I go with my predictions, so you can keep me accountable at home. You can also keep count of your points and let me know that in the comment section down below. It's 3 points for the correct scoreline, 1 point for the correct result, and obviously 0 points for neither. So 234 last season, not bad. Started well, finished well. In the middle, the sort of match day 15 to sort of 29, I really struggled. So hopefully this year, looking for 250 plus. That'd be a great result. With that being said, ladies and gents, let's get straight into these Premier League predictions. We start off on the opening night with my boys, Manchester United hosting Fulham. A very interesting game, this one here. Eric Ten Hag's got his new side together. Nazar Mazraoui and Matthias de Ligt joined the club, and looks like they both might play. Luke Shaw injured. Looks like Harry Mass will not be included from the start. So you'd expect Diogo Dalot to left back, Nazar Mazraoui jumping at right back, Matthias de Ligt alongside Lisha Martinez. It's a very strong Manchester United side, and the expectation now is on Eric Ten Hag this season to perform with this Manchester United side. Top 4, I think, is the expectation around the football club, around pundits in England as well. That'd be a successful season. A lot of pressure on him to get things done this year. Last year, the excuses for the injuries are understandable, but he's got more players in. He's got some squad depth now, so he has to perform. And I think for Manchester United in this game here, Fulham will come and do what they did last season, sit in a bit of a low block, and Silva will encourage his men just to sit tight, be compact, and look to break on that counter-attack. The likes of Iwobi, Emile Smith-Rowe, a fantastic new signing, will look to feed Muniz up top, and they'll try and break against Manchester United and catch him on the counter-attack. And you saw it work last season, 2-1 win at Old Trafford for Fulham last season in the exact same fixture. So they'll look to use that style of football. As I said, Emile Smith-Rowe, the new signing, will be pivotal for them this season, especially in this game here versus Manchester United. Playing on the counter-attack, whether it be at the 10 or onto the right or left-hand side there, you'd expect he'll be pivotal with his skill, with his smarts in the football to try and get Fulham on the break and beat Manchester United. For Manchester United, it feels like the youngsters yet again will be the keys. You look at Kobe Mainoo in midfield, making things happen, making the game tick over. Obviously out left, Alejandro Garnacho and Amad Diallo as well. So the 3 youngsters will probably be the keys. They've been heavily featured to the back end of last season and in this pre-season, and you think a lot will fall on also Bruno Fernandes to create and score goals this year, hopefully staying at the number 10 spot. I feel like this game will be tight. It'll be heavily contested. I know Fulham lost a lot of players, Adebayo, Palhinha, but they've got that backbone. And with Silva on the touch, I know you trust this team. They're a hard team to beat, and as such, I can see it going down to the wire. Whoever team takes their opportunities will likely win this game for me. You cannot be missing big chances like we saw with Manchester United in the Community Shield. With that being said, I've got United just edging it, 2-1. As I said, a very cagey affair, a real match day one type affair. I think there'll be mistakes on both sides, but in the end of the day, Manchester United will just get over the line, and I've got them win this game 2-1. The midday Saturday kickoff is Ipswich and Liverpool. Ipswich coming back up to the Premier League for the first time in 23 years, and they got Liverpool to host on match day one. Arne Slot's brand new Liverpool side coming to face Ipswich there. It's going to be a tight one, I feel like. Early moments will be so important. Obviously, Ipswich, I'm a bit worried their lack of Premier League proven talent on this side, but they're going to play with freedom. They're going to play their style of football, which means when they have the ball, they'll be smart with it. They'll play quickly. They'll try and play through the lines and play really well in possession. But what they've done versus the other teams coming up from the Championship is they have the ability and a bit of a backbone to sit in and absorb some pressure. And they're going to have to do that. Liverpool, a high possession team, a high pressing team, a high energy team. Under Arne Slot, similar to Jurgen Klopp's style of football, but we'll see the real backbone of Liverpool as well. If they go down early here away at Ipswich on opening day where that crowd will be buzzing, it will say a lot about this team if they can come back and get a result. Obviously, last season they were known for that, coming from behind, getting the job done. Obviously, they've had no new signings so far this summer. They're going with the exact same team into this one here. Ipswich are very similar to last season. Well, the lap comes across for Man City last season on loan from loan at Stoke. So not much of a change in either of these two sides, but their philosophies will remain. It'll be Kieran McKenna's willingness to commit numbers for when they have the ball and play smart in possession versus Arne Slot's high energy, high pressing, fluid system, which will hopefully see the flourish of Darwin Núñez. I think in this game here, the ability for Ipswich to hold on will be the key. If they can keep this game tight or close going deeper in the game, I give them more chance to win it. But if Liverpool score early, I think the game's over. They can run away with it. And as such, I've got Liverpool running away with this game. I think Ipswich do get a goal, but Liverpool win this game 3-1. I think their midfield quality and their options up top, Mo Salah, Cody Gakpo's, Diogo Jota's, they'll be the difference to me. They'll be clinical in front of goal and they'll get the win 3-1 on Ipswich's first day back in the Premier League. We continue to later on Saturday with Arsenal and Wolves, the back-to-back runners-up. Arsenal trying to go for the big title this season. Many feel like it's their season to topple Man City, and they've got a superb squad to go and do it. Obviously, you've got the big signing of Ricardo Calafiori joining the side. He looks like he'll be slotting at left back in this game here, alongside William Saliba, Gabriel, and also Ben White. So probably the best back four in the Premier League right now. David Raya in goal. It's a very established side, a side that knows each other, knows their strengths and weaknesses, and coming into a Wolves side that hasn't really refreshed. Obviously, lost Pedro Neto and haven't really got that many new faces around the club. A few have come back from loan, but they really lack that real sharpness in the final third. And as such, I can see Arsenal dominating this game here. Very similar to the return fixture last season, where Wolves tried their best to sit in a 5-back formation, be compact and deny Arsenal chances. But once one went in, the floodgates open and Arsenal just had to put the foot down. I can imagine it being very similar in this game here. If Wolves want something from this game, Gary Neal's going to set up his team to be that really compact 5-back that allows ability to throw numbers forward. Wang Hee-chan will have to be really clinical in front of goal. Gonzalo Guedes as well in front of goal will have to take his opportunities if they get any. I feel like Arsenal will be so good in this game here. They want to lay the benchmark early on. As such, I can see them dominating this game. Bukayo Saka, Leandro Trossard, Martinelli, these guys, I think they'll be on fire early on. I've got them win this game 3-0. It could be more. I know absolutely coast this one here versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. We continue on Saturday with Everton versus Brighton. An interesting one here. It's obviously Everton's last season at Goodison Park, and they'll start this season at home hosting Brighton, a very young, youthful Brighton side, not only on the touchline but on the pitch as well. A lot of fresh faces, a lot of youngsters in that squad there, and it's a chance for Everton to get an early 3 points. I obviously, in my prediction video, said I think they might go down, and I think a game like this is going to be a key benchmark to what we can expect from Everton this season. Again, you lose Amadou Onana. Obviously, know the problems they have up top with Dominic Calvert-Lewin's fitness and also the lack of quality with Beto up there as well. See how McNeil and Harrison go this season. They were pivotal to their style of football last year. Obviously, you know Sean Dyche is going to sit back. Like I said, Branthwaite, the new signing O'Neill, and also Tarkowski are going to be the pivotal figures to this side. Can they be as good or even better than what we saw last season defensively to try and be that backbone for the Dyche system? It's the ability to sit in deep and spring the counter-attack, direct football, using the flanks, and then being clinical in front of goal. And I think in this game here, the way both teams match up, it will benefit Everton. You know, Sebastian Herzler, he makes his sides really go out there, be progressive, overlap the fullbacks and overload wide areas. And as such, they're going to expose themselves to the counter-attack. I think that's where Everton will piece apart this Brighton side. I think Brighton will be a work in progress. We will probably see them come to their best around match week 8 or 10, where these young players can get used to this system. Obviously, Brighton have got talent. Yankuba Minter, the new signing from Newcastle United on the flank, it looks fantastic. Obviously, know what Matoma can do as well. Valentin Barco, everyone said it's his season to shine. I've also mentioned him in the players to watch this season as a breakout player. I think he'll be fantastic from fullback as well. New signings in midfield as well. They've got the players there, Gruder and Weaver in midfield. German Bundesliga 2 talent. So Sebastian Hertz has got some players there that can do a job. Both midfields look a little bit weak though, not Premier League quality, so it's going to be a bit of a back and forth type affair. If a team can control the midfield battle, they'll likely win this game because it's going to be back and forth. I feel like a real match day one type vibe when you get chances at either end of the pitch. I think Everton, with the more established faces and faces that have seen the Premier League before, get the advantage for me. I've got them winning 3-1, especially at home with that crowd backing them in, and they get over the line here versus a very, very young Brighton side. Our next game sees newly promoted Southampton travel up north to face Newcastle United in a very one-sided affair, I see. Newcastle this season, a lot of expectation without European football, with like Sandro Tonali coming back, reinforcements like Lloyd Kelly and Hall coming back on a permanent as well. There's a good feel around Newcastle United this season. And like I probably say all season long, and I'll say in this game here, a lot will rely on Anthony Gordon and Alexander Isak to get this team firing to start the season here. I feel like if these two get their chance early and take their chance, it'll be a good omen for the season to come. Fantastic players, a lot of potential, and it feels like it's their season to shine. If Newcastle do well, these two will be doing great this season. I feel like it'll be a great start here against a weaker Southampton side. Russell Martin and his side last season were shipping goals a lot in the Championship, and it's going to be a struggle away at Newcastle in the opening day of the Premier League. They like to play out, they like to be expressive and be themselves, but I think it could come back to hurt them here. I want to see, do they have a backbone and ability to sit in, absorb some pressure, because it's going to be so pivotal for the upcoming Premier League season. And if they don't, I'm really worried Newcastle will roll them over, and many other teams will roll them over in the Premier League. You're looking at the likes of Will Smallbone, Flynn Downs to be important in the middle of the park. Can they dictate the pace of the game when they have the opportunity to? Can they keep possession when Southampton are under pressure? That'll be really, really important. And obviously look up top, Ben Burton, Diaz, Adam Armstrong up there. Can they take their limited opportunities? Can they be that dynamic punch in the final third to maybe only have 3 shots but score the goal that gets an important draw? I think it's going to be very, very hard for them this game, an uphill battle. I think with Anthony Gordon's pace down the flanks, with Southampton's willingness to throw numbers forward, they're going to catch them off guard. Alexander Isak, I think, will be on fire to start the season off. I think Newcastle will be on fire as well. I've got them winning this game 4-0. I think it's going to be a real tough season for Southampton, and it doesn't get much tougher than travelling up to Newcastle in match day 1. The final game of the afternoon kickoffs on Saturday is Nottingham Forest, who host Bournemouth. And this is also another very interesting game to analyse here. Nottingham Forest, relatively stable on the off-season, considering the last few off-season we've had with them, where there's been 20 transfers in and 10 out. They've only lost a few this season, but they've kept the main core. And I think I might have been a little bit harsh with my predictions on them because they've got a stable environment for once. Nuno Espirito Santo comes back for a full season now. You still got the likes of Alanga, Hudson-Odoi, Morgan Gibbs-White, Taiwo Awoniyi's back as well. And some of those names I mentioned there, they will be pivotal in this game versus Bournemouth. We know that Nottingham Forest look their best when they play with pace, when they play with freedom, and they play with speed. And I think when Hudson-Odoi and Alanga are allowed to run at defenders and spread the play, and Nottingham Forest can win the ball back in midfield with the likes of Ryan Yates and get the counter-attack moving, that's when they look at their best. And I think those sort of players will be so pivotal in this game here. And having Taiwo Awoniyi fit and down the middle is a massive plus. We saw last season, he started the year on fire and was so pivotal to making Anthony Alanga and those around him much better. So I feel like having all 3 of those guys up top there, all fit and firing, they're going to cause problems for a Bournemouth side. You know, they lose Dom Solanke, Bournemouth, and Donny Ariola's going to swing the magnets around. Enes now I don't think is available for the opening game, so it's going to be a problem up top. It might be a problem all season long, but they've got some great signings in at Bournemouth this season. Obviously, I love Andoni Iraola. I've been raving about him since coming into the Premier League and what he's done with this Bournemouth side. They'll play with freedom, they'll play with flair, and look to try and progress the game even further this season with more progression and keeping more of a high line. But that might be to their downfall here versus a Nottingham Forest side. It's obviously hard to travel to the City Ground. We know how hostile an environment can be, but it's going to be a test. Can the likes of Semenyo turn around once again? Tavernier? Do we see Tyler Adams dictate himself in midfield? Obviously, with a lot of injuries last season, Cook and Christie, do they keep lifting their levels in midfield as well? And I'm really excited to see one of my favourites from last season, Ilyas Arbani, alongside new signing Hodgson as well, who comes in and plays at centre-half as well. We've got Arajo joining from Barcelona as well. Right back there is also a lot of young figures. So interesting for all the young stars go from the start here in a very hostile environment, or do they go to the older heads like Senesi and Max Aarons that have seen this league before and experienced what it's all about? But I'm really excited for Bournemouth this season. It's going to be a bit of a filling out process though initially. And Andoni Iraola is going to a new side, a few new pieces to fit in there, and it's going to be a tough test away to Nottingham Forest. As I said, whoever can really take their opportunities, I think it's going to be a matter of if you can finish your chances in front of goal, if you can get the early goal, if you can manage the moments for Bournemouth, you can easily win this game. But if Nottingham Forest get onto you early, they play with pace, they score the opening goal, it's going to be an uphill task for the Cherries. With that being said, I think Bournemouth had the quality, they had the management as well, the in-game manager under Andoni Iraola to win this game. I've got them nicking it just 2-1 at the City Ground. The late kickoff on Saturday is probably one of the games of the weekend. It's West Ham United hosting Aston Villa. a new revolutionised West Ham side with arguably the best transfer window across Europe. Somerville, Fulkrug, you'd all expect those two to start alongside Paqueta, Kudus and Bowen back on the flanks. You obviously got new goalkeeper depth in Fotheringham as well, new centre-backs in Kilman and Tadibo as well. There's a whole new fresh start with Lopetegui here at West Ham, and I've been a little bit critical on Lopetegui. I'm saying he's still very similar to David Moyes in terms of his style of football, but I'd be excited to see if they play a bit more expressive. They've got a proper number 9 there, Nicholas Fulkrug. I think is probably instantly a top 5 striker in the Premier League due to his finishing capabilities and his ability to just take any chance, any half chance and make it a good one in front of goal. West Ham have been crying out for a striker and they finally got it, and I feel like they'll take it to Villa on the opening day here. Unai Emery's side obviously lose Douglas Luiz, but get in Amadou Onana. Another pre-season for Morgan Rogers trying to establish himself here as a frequent in Villa's side. Ollie Watkins going again after a fantastic season last year. And I think for Aston Villa, it'll be ability to play your game, continue to play your game despite what West Ham do. I expect West Ham to still sit in quite a bit and try and absorb the pressure that Villa will have, especially with the midfield quality in there as well. Ross Barkley could be a valid option from the bench as well, but expect Villa to control the ball and play their solid football, get the fullbacks like Ian Martin pushing on, overlapping, and really go and hammer away at this West Ham side. But for West Ham, do you have the ability to soak up some pressure, but then go and play football on the counter-attack or in your own right when you win possession back. You've got the talent there, Bowen, Paqueta, Kudus, Fulkrug, Crescencio, Somerville as well. You've got talent there to go and play football, so go and show that. And I think that's going to be what I'm really excited about. It's a lot of unknown going to this game here. How does Unai Emery's side shape up in the opening game week? And how does Lopetegui shape up his West Ham side? Does he go with all new signings? Does he sort of blend half in and leave half on the bench? It's going to be really exciting to see. I think it's going to be a really tight game. I think both teams with contrasting styles of football will cancel each other out. I've got a 2-2 draw, a really exciting draw. Goals are plenty and chances are plenty. But in the end of the day, I think West Ham got a really important point hosting Aston Villa in this one here. We now come to the Sunday fixtures, starting with an all-London affair. Brentford and Crystal Palace kick us off on Sunday. And I'm really excited for this game here. Brentford with somehow still having Ivan Toney there. Kevin Schade now has a pre-season under his legs as well. And you've got Vincent and Burnley. So it's a lot of attacking options for this side here. And you're hoping that this back line can be much better than last season. Obviously, Brentford, the backbone of their successful years has been on great home form. Something that we didn't see last season, but potentially come back here at the start of this season here. Season afresh, a chance for this crowd to get behind this side. I think it could be a great opportunity. Do we see Fabio Carvalho from the start as well? We're really excited to see what he can do this season. They're going to be really, really good though, because this Crystal Palace side, I've also raved a lot about. They come back against a top manager in Oliver Glasner, who got his Crystal Palace side on fire since taking over Roy Hodgson towards the back end of last season. They finished the hottest team in the Premier League, competing with what Arsenal and Man City were putting up come season's end. We saw what Mateta did in the Premier League and then at the Olympics. Eze is always fantastic for this Crystal Palace side, and I'm really excited to see Ismail Assar back in the Premier League. Obviously, he caused havoc with Watford when he was previously in the Premier League, went to France, came back, and looks like a real dangerous talent. Obviously, know what they've got in midfield with Adam Wharton there alongside Will Hughes. They're both bruisers and can both carry the football forward. And then, as it currently stands, Gahi and Anis are still the centre-back partnership. So it's a really stable side. Some real quality. Munoz at fullback as well. So there's real talent over the park here. And I think with Oliver Glasner, he just elevates this team to the next level. And I think he might just out-coach Thomas Frank here. I rate Thomas Frank as a coach, but with slightly better players and the better philosophy with Oliver Glasner here, I think they'll tear Brentford apart. I don't really give them much of a chance here. I think Crystal Palace, once they get one in, once they get the confidence up, and Eze and Mateta and Ismail Assar start linking up, it's going to be a real long day for Brentford here. I'm going with a Crystal Palace 3-1 win. I think Oliver Glasner gets the season off to a fantastic start, and Crystal Palace really try and push for that mid-table finish this year. We now come to the big one on Sunday night there. Chelsea and Manchester City. Maresca versus his former compatriot there, Pep Guardiola. What a game this one shaping up to be. Chelsea once again going into a new season with a new manager, but hopefully with a somewhat successful transfer window and hopefully some more stability at the football club. There's a chance here they can try and push on this season. I don't give them too much hope this season. I think it's a real toxic environment, but you could turn this whole season around by just starting the season well here against a Manchester City side. We know don't start seasons quite as fast as they finish them. So at the bridge, a real opportunity here to set the benchmark early on here. Look to Nkunku, you look to Cole Palmer as well. When these two on fire, Chelsea were on fire last season. We didn't see much of them together, but when we did, it was really, really exciting. We obviously know what Cole Palmer did last season as the young player of the year. We obviously know what Nkunku can do from his time in the Bundesliga, and also when he played for Chelsea last season. I think another key will be the midfield battle. You know how good Man City's midfield is. KDB, Bernardo Silva. You've also got Rodri, who should come back from the start or be introduced from the bench. Kovacic was fantastic in the Community Shield as well. So there's real quality in Man City's midfield. We know that. But how does Chelsea's midfield stack up this season? Lavia coming back from a big injury. Caicedo seemed to come into his own come the back end of last season. And Enzo Fernandez, to me, is that missing piece. If he's fantastic, Chelsea are great. If he's off it, Chelsea are just not there. He is somewhat the poster boy of this new revolution that Todd Bowley started at Chelsea. It was the big money signing. He hasn't really performed enough for me. I've highlighted him a lot in the preseason. If he can start the season off well for Chelsea, if they can win this midfield battle, they can really take it to Man City. As I said, Man City start seasons off a little bit slower. Take a little bit more time to get into the swing of things. You've got Rodri coming back off limited preseason with the club, same as Phil Foden. KDB's a little bit older. I do back these guys in though. I think they'll have a fantastic year. I think Haaland and De Bruyne will be at their best this year. I think they'll tear teams apart. But it's any time to get in Man City, it's right now, the first game of the season. They're normally, really traditionally, quite off the pace of season start. With that being said, though, I think they'll still get it done. Their back four's fantastic. It's all very settled. They've got the quality up top to take chances, if it's limited or not, with the X factor of Doku and Savio. I think they'll tear the Chelsea backline to shreds here. And with the lack of pre-season and the continuity in midfield, I still back Rodri, Kovacic, Bernardo, KDB in to still outplay the Chelsea midfield. I think it'll be tough early on, but as the game grows on, as City grow into the game, I think that'll be too good for this Chelsea side. I've got them winning this game 3-1. I think it's going to be tight in the first half. As I said, in the second half comes around, the big C names will show up and they'll get a big win in match day 1 here. Then that brings us to our final game on Monday night. Leicester, newly promoted, take on Angers Tottenham Hotspur. It's going to be a really exciting game, this one. I think there'll be goals galore. We know Leicester shipped some goals come the back end of last season. That defence isn't very quick nor mobile or versatile, so it's going to concede a lot of goals. There's a new system now under Coach Cooper there, Steve Cooper, joining Leicester, and we know how good Spurs look this season as well. So it's going to be a really entertaining back and forth game. It'll be interesting how Leicester set up. Under Steve Cooper, we know he's a bit more pragmatic than what Maresca was last season at Leicester. You lose, obviously, the manager, and you also lose your best player in Drewsbury Hall as well. So a bit of reshuffling, and they don't really have a central number 9 goal scorer. So Mavididi and Fadi are going to be their options to goal. Do they still invert the fullback? Does Ricardo Perez still come into midfield and try and bolster that midfield as well? Because I think Tottenham might just walk through that Leicester midfield. The likes of Basuma, as well as Papsar, with Archie Gray and Bergvall from the bench as well. James Maddison coming back from injury as well. Looks like he'll have another massive season as well. And you've got the striking options up top. Dom Solanke down the middle, who I think is fantastic signing for this club. Heung-min Son back where he belongs on the left. Brennan Johnson or Dejan Kulusevski from the right. It's chances deluxe. You know they'll play a higher line with Romero and Mickey van der Ven as well, with the pace they've got in the centre halves. And it's the absolute opposite with Leicester. They don't have a main focal number 9. They've got slow centre halves, especially with Wout Face there. They're not going to commit numbers forward and play with the same energy and intensity because they'll get exposed. They're not as quick, and the work rate isn't quite the same in midfield. So I think Tottenham will just tear them apart. But equally, because Tottenham are so open, we saw that last season at the back, I think Leicester have chance to score goals, especially with Mavididi, with Fadu from the flanks. If Ricardo Pereira pushes on as well, they're going to get chances themselves. So I think I can see it being a very high scoring game, especially match day 1 as well. I've gone bold in this one here. I've gone Leicester 2, Tottenham 5. I think Tottenham will have a fair chunk of goals. I think Sonny gets 2 or 3. I think Solanke opens his scoring, has a fantastic game this one here as well. But I think the key for Tottenham is that midfield 3, that trio with Archie Gray and also Bergvall coming from the bench. There's so much energy, there's so much work rate and intensity and quality in that midfield area of the park. And we know under Ange, when that part of the park works, when that part of the team is functioning, they look superb. So I think, as I said, Tottenham win this game 5-2. They run riot and they tear this Leicester side apart in their opening game back in the Premier League. Well, that being said, ladies and gents, that brings my Premier League predictions for match week 1 to an end. As I said, it's so excited to be back. Let me know what you think of my predictions in the comment section down below. Let me know your predictions for match week 1 as well. Have I got stuff right? Have I got it wrong? and I think ridiculous some of the scorelines. And let me know also your favourite game coming up from the weekend. Really excited to have the Premier League back. It feels like it's been too long, even though we had the Euros and Copa America as well. It's great to be back predicting some proper Premier League football. If you enjoy the video, guys, smash a like on it, subscribe to the Players End channel if you're new around here as well, and press that post notification. We know we upload our podcasts. We got Monday podcast around the Premier League, Thursday podcast wrapping up all of Europe. We've got the predictions, got reaction videos coming from the weekend, live streams coming frequently this year as well. So a massive year on the channel, and we're trying to push for 1K subscribers as well. So it'd be great if you can join us on this journey here. With that being said, ladies and gents, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the weekend's football action. It is finally back. I cannot wait for it. And I'll see you after the video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.